Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar. This is a review of Where Starships Go to Die. So I remember when this came out. It was like June or July or something of last year, 2022. And this book just sat pretty much unsold on the shelf. And then ended up in the 75-cent bin. Let's look at the price. $4.99. Where Starships Go to Die, number 1. June 2022. Hey, look at that. There's the date, too. Read Dangerous. Of course, this company is in the middle of bankruptcy right now. I got a video about that somewhere. You can go check that out. But yeah, I remember seeing this book on the shelf. I remember thinking, oh, that sounds cool. And then I picked it up and I flipped through it. Through it. And I was like, this doesn't look very good. It looks like a lot of people talking and nothing going on. And guess what it is? It's a lot of people talking and nothing going on. Now, we start out with a pretty clever, pretty cool premise. It's very promising. The first interstellar ship is supposed to be sending a message back to Earth. Or they're expecting to receive the ship's message on Earth right about now. And instead, they get no message. Ship went to Bernard Star. I don't know if you saw the text. There is no message, but there's a weird crash, which looks suspiciously like the ship, into the ocean, into the graveyard where they deorbit everything. Then we got this guy over here who was supposed to have been the captain of the ship but wasn't for whatever reason. And we've got this lady who wants to salvage the ship. And she's like, yo, I want to hire you so we can go do stuff. And he's like, no, I'm going to be a jerk about it. I don't know. I feel like my first reaction to being told that, hey, we'll build you a spaceship is not going to be, I'm not going to be your taxi driver. Also, you're telling me that this is set in like 2077 or 75 or something. You're telling me that 50 years from now, not one person from an entire continent with 1 billion people or so on it has gone to space? Really? Really? Nobody from South Africa. Nobody from Nigeria. Nobody from Ethiopia. Nobody from, I don't know, I'm starting to run out of country names. Mali, Angola, Morocco, Sierra Leone, Egypt, Liberia, Libya. There's a lot of countries and a lot of people in Africa. And in the next 50 years between now and when this takes place, there's none of that? Yeah, right. They also set up a pretty apocalyptic scenario for the world. Apparently, it's all flooding and stuff, which means that Antarctica, to get that, this should all be no longer ice, to get that much sea level rise. But hey, what do I know? I just have a PhD in physics. I don't know. I don't know anything about this stuff. Anyway, it turns out that like Jules Verne stores are actually real. That's one of the other parts of this setting, which seems like a really weird thing. Like, I don't know why that's necessary, but okay. But because of that, that means that there's like this capsule on the bottom of the sea from like 1866 or 1870 or whenever. I haven't read that particular Jules Verne story, so I don't know when it takes place. But there's a space capsule down there with some dead guy, and it's stuff like this that kind of takes me out of it. Like, we have this really interesting premise. Oh yeah, here's like the alien influence or whatever. It's like little glass shards, and you can see it on the cover, which is a nice touch. But there's this really interesting setup. It feels like we're kind of going to go for like a sphere thing or something here. You know? There's a weird crash landing of a ship that shouldn't be in the ocean. We're going to go down. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to investigate it. Sphere did this really, really well, by the way. It got into people's heads, delved into psychology and stuff. Really good book. Pretty good movie. That's a pretty good movie. I'm probably like one of the 3 people in the world that have actually seen Sphere, but it's a pretty good movie. Instead, we get I Don't Want to Be Your Taxi Driver. How many pilots are going to say no to getting to fly again? I'm sure there are some, but I also don't think I've met any. And then we get, instead of, oh my God, that was a zombie, or oh my God, I decapitated a dead man, You made me do this, you bleeping bleeping bleep. Yeah, I know. The first thing I think of when a zombie attacks me is to start insulting him because he died 200 years ago and didn't know better. So, kind of, this feels like a lot of wasted potential. I'm not surprised that this book sat on my shelf until it ended up in the bin. It's a shame. I like the setup. Also, we didn't see any Soviets, so I'm not sure what the CCCP helmet is all about here, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Well, take care of yourselves. You have a great one. Bye-bye.